What is up, everyone? This is DragonBallMedia, and today we ask the what if question: what if Gohan and Goten became the main character? This is common with anime TV shows where the studios and storyline just move on to someone else being the main character. What with Yu-Gi-Oh being dethroned in GX and Zexal, Naruto being replaced by his son Boruto in the new series? So what if the same thing happened with Dragon Ball? We've come to know Goku as the main character in pretty much every Dragon Ball series, from a little boy in the original Dragon Ball to a young adult in Dragon Ball Z, back to being a little boy in GT again, and then becoming a middle-aged adult in Dragon Ball Super. It's always been the Goku show, but what if his sons Gohan or Goten became the next main characters? Well, let's break into our theories and backgrounds to see what exactly it would be like if Goku wasn't the main character anymore. Let's start off with Gohan. I thought for sure in Dragon Ball Z that he was going to be the next main character. Sure, Goku had the spotlight throughout the original series, so he didn't get an insane runtime as the show's headliner up until then, but the growth of Gohan was a for sure thing for a main character. From a young kid who sported the shy demeanor that younger audiences could relate to, Gohan's upbringing was very different and honestly very cool. We all know that Goku wasn't around for his childhood, so Gohan was trained by former villain turned friend Piccolo. Is this training session of youth better than Goku and Krillin training with Roshi when they were kids? Well, that's debatable, but Gohan learned some real-world skills on how to unleash the power that was bestowed within him as a shy person. We all know Gohan's backstory, so I'm not going to revamp it all too much for you. I just wanted to take a trip down memory lane from his childhood super quick. Now let's show some critical moments within his upbringing that'll help us kind of tell what it would be like if he became the next main character. Everyone remembers when Gohan breaks through the pod, Raditz came in to deliver a gut-wrenching headbutt straight into his stomach. That critical moment gave Goku and Piccolo enough time to deliver a special beam cannon that would end Raditz for good. And who could forget when Gohan trained with Piccolo before Vegeta and Nappa showed up to wreak havoc? Sure, it didn't really go as planned or really well at all, but for Gohan to be trained by one of the strongest characters at the time, it definitely helped prepare Gohan to fight later foes throughout the series. There's a couple of times when Gohan resembles his dad in the sense that when they see their fellow friends become hurt or beaten up, they unleash a crazy amount of anger and power, like the time Gohan used his Masenko move when Piccolo died. Or when Gohan sees Krillin getting beaten up by Frieza, he swiftly kicks into actual and delivers a barrage of attacks. There's a lot of character development with Gohan at a young age within the moments I just listed, in that he becomes enraged over the sight of seeing his friends being beaten up. So you can know from that Gohan really cares for his family and friends and will literally do anything to save or stick up for them. That same mentality would actually follow through with him as a young teen as well. And it's critical to note that during his teenage years, this is when he would be around his father a lot more now that he's not off training or, dead. Gohan saving Piccolo from the androids was a pretty special moment for him and Piccolo's relationship as well. And with one of the most important moments within Gohan's story, he defeats one of the strongest villains within the whole series, so Piccolo's training definitely paid off. One of the reasons he was able to muster so much strength in order to defeat him also was seeing the death of Android 16, which prompted him to go Super Saiyan 2. So from a kid to a teen, Gohan has developed his devotion to getting stronger, saving his friends, and just overall being what a main character should be. It's actually a little bit different from his father Goku though. You see, Goku's main thing is to get stronger, train, and fight stronger enemies. Sure, he loves his friends and family, but his main concern is just training, whereas Gohan is more of a caregiver, not really worried so much about training and being the strongest, but just being there for his friends in their time of need. So this is all leading up to Ultimate Gohan, and one of the more crucial plot twists that would forever change the path of Gohan. Chi-Chi. You ask yourself, what would Gohan be like if he became the main character right after the Cell Saga? Well, he had all the hype in the world, nothing was going to stop him from getting stronger, and because he's half human, half Saiyan, there's so much different directions that could have taken the character. But sadly, Chi-Chi ruined pretty much any chance of Gohan becoming a main character or pretty much anything cool. She, as a caring, smart mom would-be, didn't want him training or fighting and wanted him to become as smart and study. In Dragon Ball Super, you could see most of the development and what it turned into. He became a smart, sophisticated father and scholar and gave up the fighting lifestyle because of it. So what would it be like if he became the main character after Z? Well, it would basically become a high school drama show. You have him running into problems such as, getting late to class, almost potential affairs, and test-taking. It wouldn't be good, to be honest. Not to mention his alter ego, the Great Saiyaman, became a thing. And, well, that was kind of embarrassing. What if that became the direction Dragon Ball went in? Sort of like, Hannah Montana, if you will. They have this smart father going to class one moment, then him transforming to save the day with his counterpart character. That does sound somewhat interesting, but maybe for just a few episodes. So I'm glad Gohan didn't become the main character during that time. But what if all this being said, let's just assume for a second that Gohan still had the hype surrounding him after defeating Cell. Let's assume that he still studied, became a scholar, and, was still very smart, but was also able to train on the side just as much too. What if that type of Gohan became the main character? To me, it would sort of resemble Batman or Spider-Man in a way. We'd see him go through his day-to-day life as a husband, scholar, and overall smart genius-like character. But then at night, or when nobody is around, he turns into the Great Saiyaman and battles villains to keep Earth safe. Sure, that sort of resembles what we just talked about, but with Gohan actually being a lot stronger this time around, with him having more brains than his father, I would assume a lot more battles wouldn't take place, however. I would assume most of the runtime and episodes would be about Gohan going through the college drama soap opera lifestyles, then battling some random monster. I don't think the Tournament of Power would have happened though either. Just because the whole center of that happening was because Goku kept training and training, fighting power level after power level, then eventually running into Beerus, which, eventually led into Zeno, which eventually led into all the universes coming together to fight one another. Because of the direction Chi-Chi took Gohan, I don't think any of that would have happened. To sum it up, I think if Gohan became the main character, it would be like Batman or Spider-Man. Half normal life antics, half fighting crime and villains. Sounds like a pretty good short spin-off that would be interesting, but, for a whole show, I think it would go down in flames. So now that we covered up what it would be like if Gohan was the main character, let's talk about another one of Goku's offsprings, Goten. So unfortunately, Goten doesn't have much runtime, nor does he have any character development whatsoever within the show compared to Gohan and Goku. So this will be pretty much 100% speculation. I mean, sure, he has the same mindset of saving his friends in need like Gohan and Goku, like the time he went Super Saiyan and tried to save Trunks and Vegeta from Majin Buu, or when he fuses together with Trunks to form Gotenks to fight Majin Buu, once again. At that point in time, that being in the Z timeline, Goten had some hype around him. Is it enough hype to lead him as a main character role? Absolutely not. But let's just assume that it did. So if Goten became the main character during or after Z, what would it be like? Well, sort of awkward. He's always had this personality about him where he wants to be Trunks. In most of the runtime, he's always training or hanging around Trunks as well, who's this cocky little character that just wants to be like his dad, who is also, a very cocky fighter. So he's drawn between wanting to be like the characters within his family, humble and strong, but he also wants to be a little kiddish, annoying, cocky fighter as well at times. So it's hard to even imagine what it would be like for Goten to be the main character during or after Z. I'd assume we'd not only see a lot of Goten leading the pack, but Trunks as well. So I'd imagine it would be a lot like Goku and Vegeta, them trying to constantly outdo each other. I mean, within the Super Universe, Goku really isn't the main character, Vegeta is as well. And they're always with each other, constantly trying to train and outdo each other. So picture that, but with Goten and Trunks. I think it would be like Gohan becoming the main character, just kind of enjoyable for a couple episodes instead of like a whole series. Although Goten is treated by Chi-Chi the same as Gohan, Goten has this way about him where he just wants to get strong and train just like his dad. And most of the reason for that is because Goku is around a lot more, and he's always around Trunks. So I think Goten becoming the main character could also turn out like Goku's story did. Now let's talk about Goten within the Super story, and boy is it just detrimental for the character. For starters, I'm going to assume most of you have already seen or watched Dragon Ball Super, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. I think they butchered Goten's character development in Super more than they did Gohan's. Goten in Super is kind of embarrassing, and it's like he's not even really a side character, he's just mostly a background character like Pilaf. There's only a few moments where he's, on screen for a bit of time, but mostly he's just an annoying little kid who just gets into trouble or just likes being a little kid. Nothing happens for him in the beginning or end, and that kind of sucks. So asking yourself what it would be like if Goten became the main character during or after Super is like asking yourself what it would be like if Oolong became the main character in Super. I mean, he actually had a pretty funny, intense scene with Beerus of all things, so really I think it would be more interesting. I think it would be like a rambunctious, superpowered version of an episode of Rugrats. It would just be through his point of view with nothing really going on, just him and Trunks getting into trouble and doing things they weren't supposed to do. I think the only positive thing I could potentially see in Goten and Trunks going on missions with Jocko, as they had some development, that was kinda nice in the end of Super. Still, it would be hard to see Goten of all characters running the show, but with both him and Trunks going on super galactic missions, I think that would actually turn out to be something kind of enjoyable. So case in point, now you understand why it was such a good thing to keep Goku as the main character. It just wouldn't make sense seeing Gohan or Goten becoming the main fighter because they just had different paths than Goku. Sure, Goten has a little bit more potential seeing as how he's still a little kid, But from what they did to him in Super, I doubt they have really any big plans for him throughout the rest of the series. And that's it for today's What If episode, guys. If you enjoyed, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe. Make sure to leave a comment down below with a video you would like to see on a What If series down below in the comment section, and I will be sure to potentially make that video and give you a shout out if I use the idea. This is DragonBallMedia, guys, and I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video.